Selaine Saxby.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and it's a pleasure to follow my honourable friend from Keighley tonight. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the people of North Devon. Throughout the pandemic, our rate of infection has remained below the national average, and that is thanks very much to the hard work that they have put in following the guidance throughout. I'd like to thank the community groups who've kept each other safe. In a rural community, those networks are absolutely vital. We don't have those great big meeting places where transmission is easy, and it has been those small villages that have held themselves together. I'd like to thank the social care workers and those working in our care homes, and particularly our NHS, for everything they've done and are about to do, rolling out the vaccine. And it is with regards to the vaccine, I, like the Secretary of State, shed a tear that morning when the news came through, and find it really quite moving even now to see that light at the end of the tunnel. But I would also like to emphasise to the Minister the importance that my community places on timely information about the rollout of the vaccine. We've been waiting 9 months for this vaccine, and we know we might have to wait a little bit longer. But just to know when it's coming, I think would be a huge help for so many. My elderly population and many who have shielded are desperate to find out when they will be able to receive the vaccine. And as the vaccine is rolled out, how will this dovetail with the reducing restrictions? And I hope that now that we have a vaccine, a plan will be able to come forward. And I'm delighted to hear of colleagues across the House tonight whose elderly relatives have been able to book an appointment, and I very much hope the same will be true for my residents in the coming days and weeks. In addition to my concerns about the vaccine rollout in North Devon, I also would like to flag the plight of my hospitality industry. In North Devon this week, we're running at Devon as a whole 71 cases per 100,000, North Devon a bit higher at just over 90. And whereas others have spoken here tonight about Tier 3 and wanting to get into Tier 2, my hospitality businesses say that Tier 2 is the worst of all worlds, and that they would dearly like to get to Tier 1. Unfortunately, at 71 per 100,000, I recognise that my 146 pubs are unlikely to see that lifted this week. However, I would like to propose a suggestion of maybe a Tier 1A or 2-, where we are clearly heading in the right direction. Is there any chance that our pubs that are COVID secure and are very grateful to have eaten out to help out, 250,000 meals were consumed in the Eat Out to Help Out scheme in my constituency with not one coronavirus case linked to them? These are COVID secure businesses. Please could we let them perhaps have the rule of 6 in the pub in a COVID safe environment? We're robust in North Devon. Could we sit out and have a drink without a substantial meal? This Friday, I went and had a substantial meal in the lovely Key Inn in Instow. Slightly isolated experience, being the only table in there at 8 o'clock on a Friday, 2 weeks before Christmas. Having walked past the Wayfarer, the Boathouse and the Instow Arms to get there. Yes, I'm lucky my village still does have 4 pubs, all of which would normally be packed at this time of year, all of them deserted. And so whilst very grateful for the support that's come today, and they are delighted to be open, I very much hope they will still be open when we get through the worst of this pandemic. I'm told my tourism sector is down by 56% compared to last year, and that up to 70% of my tourism and hospitality businesses are not sure they will still be there by Easter. It's the lack of planning they are finding so difficult, and I do hope we will be able to, now that we have that light at the end of the tunnel, be able to help them plan for next season. Because it is only when we are beginning to exit this dreadful pandemic and normality is beginning to return, hopefully by Easter, and I can then hopefully revert to being the self-appointed one-woman tourist board for North Devon and welcome you all back to my lovely constituency. It's only then that we will start to know how much of the North Devon's tourism and hospitality industry remains. As we continue to balance lives and livelihoods, I very much hope just a little bit more can be done to protect both in North Devon.